Hey, today I thought I would do another how-to video for homemade coconut milk yogurt because I've been posting it a lot on Instagram because I've been eating it on a lot of things and I've gotten some questions about exactly how to make it. So the written directions are on our website and I'll link to those below, but here is the tutorial. So join on in. It really could not be any more simple, and it is one of those awesome things to make where it seems so fancy and impressive to people that you're serving it to, but it's so easy. You really just need a probiotic capsule, and I've tried this with at least 5 different brands of probiotics, and it's worked with all of them, so I really wouldn't worry too much about what brand you're using. If you have some in your fridge, grab that and try that. So 1 probiotic capsule and 1 can of coconut milk, and about like a 14-ounce can, 13 ounces. All you do is you take the coconut milk, pour it into a clean jar, stir in 1 probiotic capsule, and let that sit with the lid very loosely on it. So the bacteria from the probiotic are going to be like eating the sugar from the coconut milk and culturing that in the same way that you would regular yogurt with cow's milk. So we'll just pour that in. I usually like to use a scraper to get all of it out because it kind of sticks to the side. And if you shake the can really well before you pour it, that also helps to get some of the stuff that kind of sticks, the residuals that stick to the lid and stuff, incorporated into the actual coconut milk. So once you have that done, you just crack open your little probiotic. And just make sure you kind of squeeze it to get all of the powdery stuff out. Or if you have a liquid probiotic, you could use some of that too. And I usually just use a fork to stir this because I find that it gets the probiotic a little bit more incorporated. You'll see some of the powdery stuff on top. Just make sure that that's all stirred in. Okay, so that really is all there is to it. You stir that in. Make sure that any probiotic clumps are incorporated. And then you want to put the lid on enough to stop like any dust or anything from getting into it, but not enough to prevent any of the airflow from getting in. You want that airflow for the bacteria. So I usually leave it just a jar like that. And so put this somewhere that is quiet, dark, room temperature. You don't want it going through a lot of extreme temperature changes, and leave it for 24 hours. Then after 24 hours, take a fork, stir it again. At this point, you'll notice that it's starting to thicken, and if you taste it, it's a little less sweet than it would be initially because the bacteria are starting to eat some of that sugar, which is a good thing. If you put a spoon in it, it should kind of like stick to the back of the spoon, but it's still liquidy. Put the lid back on it after you stir it the same way so air can get in. Leave it in that same place for another 24 hours, so 48 hours total. And at that point, give it another stir and stick it in the fridge. It should be the thickness of a plain yogurt. And once it's in the fridge and cools down a little bit, it'll get a little bit thicker. So this is your first batch. Enjoy. Once it's cooled down, you can put it on French toast, pancakes. You can use it. I actually love it on peanut butter and banana toast in the mornings. So use this first batch up until you have about a 1/4 cup left. And then you actually don't need any more probiotic capsules. You can make your next batches from the remaining culture that's left in your yogurt. So leave about a 1/4 cup of yogurt in this jar, and then pour another can of coconut milk over that, stir it in, let it sit for 24 hours, stir it again, let it sit for 24 more hours, stir it again, and refrigerate it. At that point, your coconut milk yogurt turns into the consistency of like Greek yogurt or sour cream or like a clotted cream, and is delicious. You can actually use it like sour cream or with like a scone as clotted cream. So that really is all there is to it. And I'll see you in 48 hours and I'll show you how thick it gets. It's been 48 hours and it's time to make the final stir in the yogurt and then put the lid on tight and stick it in the fridge and use it. So I wanted to show you how thick it gets. So we'll just give it a stir, and you can see that it's like the consistency of a really light pudding. And then that'll get even thicker when you put it in the fridge. So I'm excited to see what you come up with when you make your homemade yogurt and what you use it on. Share those with us on Instagram, please. This is Willow with C&J Nutrition. See you for the next recipe.